Part 4, in which I drone on. Minecraft provides a number of commands that you can run by typing the slash key. This is the /, the key with a question mark on it. ScriptCraft adds a JS command to Minecraft. Type /JS 1+1, and ScriptCraft will process that JavaScript and display the number 2. Computers are good at calculations, aren't they? In addition to the JS command, ScriptCraft also makes a bunch of JavaScript functionality available. One of the best things that ScriptCraft gives you is called the drone. The drone lets you draw with Minecraft blocks. Imagine that you want to make a square that is 100 blocks by 100 blocks. Huge, I know. Can you imagine placing 10,000 blocks one by one? With the drone, you can place 10,000 blocks in roughly the same amount of time it would take to place 10. And here's how. Point your crosshairs at a nearby block. That will be the corner of the square we're going to make. Next, type /JS, followed by this JavaScript code. Box, open parenthesis, blocks.oak, 100, 1, 100. And then a closed parentheses. I'll note that those spaces are not required. The spaces between the numbers here, I just put them for clarity. So when I press return now, it's going to replace 10,000 blocks of ground with oak. Let's take a look. Takes a little bit of work for the computer. And it took more work than I expected. But look at that. 10,000 blocks of oak. Placed just like that. So how did that work? Box is what's called a function. A function consists of JavaScript code that is executed when you call it. When you call a function, you can pass in arguments that are separated by commas and enclosed in parentheses. You'll always follow the function name by parentheses whenever you want to call it, whether you have arguments to pass in or not. So box is a function that takes 4 arguments, a block type, width, height, and depth. By saying we wanted a box with height of 1, that means we want a square. How about that block type? Well, blocks is what's called an object. We'll talk more about objects in another episode. For now, the important thing to know about objects is that you can use them to look up values by name. Minecraft keeps track of block types as numbers, but trying to remember a bunch of numbers is hard, so ScriptCraft gives you the blocks object. And in this case, we look up oak in the blocks object by typing blocks.oak, where dot is a period, but we commonly just say blocks.oak. Okay, so what if we wanted a raised platform rather than replacing the ground? It's getting dark here. Let's fix that. Time set 100. We'll make it morning. There we go. So if we want a raised platform, rather than replacing the ground, we could put a block on the ground and point at that and then run the box function, or we can tell the drone to go up first. So let's take a look at that. Up, open parent, close parent, because we're going to call the up function. And then we say .box, and we give it blocks.oak again, comma, let's do 10, 1, 10. Rather than doing 10,000 blocks, we'll just do 100 blocks this time. Now, what I did here is called chaining. We're chaining from the up function to the box function. We'll skip over the details of what's going on here for now, so that we can just enjoy drawing in Minecraft, but we will talk more about what this chaining is and how it works. But for now, just know that you can take these drone functions that we talk about and separate them with dots and call them all in a row. Okay, so it went ahead and added a raised platform for us here. That's 100 blocks large. Going up and making boxes aren't the only tricks up the drone's sleeve. Do drones have sleeves? Anyway, I've made a ScriptCraft drone quick reference. Try saying that 5 times fast. ScriptCraft drone quick reference, which lists the functions available on the drone. There's a lot of stuff there. You can move up, down, left, right, forward, back, and turn the drone to face a different direction. You have to picture the way the drone is facing. You can draw boxes, both solid and hollow, cylinders, spheres, hemispheres, and arcs. You can place doors, stairs, ladders, and signs. Let's take a look at some shapes. All right, we'll do box 0, blocks.oak 555. Okay, now look at this box that we've got here. And if I punch a hole in it, you can see it's hollow. Many of the shape functions include a version that ends with the number 0 there. That gives you a hollow shape. And in this case, we got a nice hollow box. Let's try another interesting one here. So we will do cylinder 0. You can guess that's going to give us a hollow one. For 4, we're giving it the radius and the height. Okay, cylinder is kind of fun to watch because it takes a little bit more computation. But again, we asked for a hollow one, and so we get this nice hollow shaped cylinder. Pretty cool, huh? I'll note also if we were too close with these two shapes, they will mash themselves together. That sometimes makes an interesting effect. So you'll want to play around with that. Let's try one. This one can be kind of fun. Up hemisphere 0, blocks.oak 5, and then north. So we're going to make a hemisphere with a radius of 5 and in the north direction, which means basically the top half of the hemisphere. Okay, so it's building our hemisphere. It just built that for us. Now if I come over here and go right about here, let's take a look inside by giving it a door. That was nice, just a door function. And now we can go inside. We can see we have a nice hollow hemisphere here. Very cool, fun to walk into. Let's take a look at the roof of this here. So I'll run a ladder function. Whoops, give it a height of the ladder of 3. All right, so now we can go up the ladder. You can see these holes here. The hemisphere function, or at least the hemisphere 0 function, is not perfect, especially with these smaller sizes. But still, this is pretty cool that we got this kind of shape and actually built this kind of interesting little building in such a short amount of commands. You know, in fact, this looks kind of like a yurt to me. It's got a door, it's kind of rounded. Why don't we save this so we can make copies? So I will run a command here, up, because I want to take it from the ground, from what's above the ground, copy, and I'll call it yurt, because this is a yurt sort of building. And I will give it a width of 11, height of 9, depth of 11. I think that'll be big enough to capture our whole yurt. And I hit enter. Now you can see I started from this corner because this corner is roughly where it starts at, where the hemisphere was built within. Okay, so now I have copied that yurt. And this works a lot like copy and paste in word processor or something. So I can paste that, but our pastes are named. Oh, oops, I want to be able to go up and then paste. And I'll paste that yurt. And here we go. So it pasted it. It didn't give us the ladder, but it did give us our door, and it gave us all the other blocks, probably because the ladder is a modification to a block as opposed to a block itself. But you know what? If we want that ladder, it's that simple. So we have our ladder again. But it's cool because now I can create as many yurts as I want. All right, next let's try building the world's quickest staircase to the clouds. Now creating stairs can be annoying because you need blocks for the stairs to sit on, unless you're using the drone. So the times function of the drone lets us repeat the preceding function calls however many times we want. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So I want to create a box that are blocks.stairs. Now I'm going to just press tab, and you can see it'll cycle through the different choices. So I just pressed tab a couple of times and it gave me stairs. Now the nice thing about pressing tab is that you know you typed things correctly. So we want oak stairs. Now I don't need to give it a size because it's going to give me just one block when I try to create a box, giving it no size. Then I'm going to go up. After I've placed a block, I'm going to go up and then I'm going to tell the drone to go forward, and then I'm going to do that 128 times. Okay? So what this is doing is it's telling me the times function is going to say, okay, everything that preceded that times function, do that again, however many times I said. This time I'm saying 128 times. So it's going to do putting one block of oak stairs, go up, forward, and do it again 128 times. Let's take a look. And look at that, it's building staircase to the sky just like that. That's pretty cool. Let's make it morning again. And we can test it here. Whoop, up, 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 up. And it's a long way up to the top of the sky. Now, can you just imagine how much work it would have taken to build a staircase this high with nothing underneath it? Very cool indeed. Now, when you're experimenting with making a shape, sometimes you'll find that you want to erase it and start over. The way we do that is pretty straightforward. You might even guess it if you think about it a little bit. Let's say we don't want this yurt anymore, and we happen to know that this yurt is, let's see, we made 11, 9, 11 was the size of that box. So I'm going to say, give me a box of blocks.air. So we just replace it all with air blocks. 11, 9, 11. And there we go. Oh, it left our letters behind. But, and it left, you could see, you know, where the grass is gone underneath where our yurt was. But that's pretty cool. Erasing stuff is just that easy. Just place blocks of air wherever you need to. Now we've looked at a few of the shapes that the ScriptCraft drone can make for us. Now let's look at some of the crazy stuff that the drone comes with. This stuff gets really fun. Alright, how about a garden? That's 5 by 5. There, that's pretty. Of course that garden could be any size we wanted, and that doesn't have to be 5 by 5. How about a game of chess? We'll make ourselves a chessboard wool with white wool and black wool, and your typical chessboard size, which is 8 by 8. There we go. That's pretty cool. How long would that have taken to do by hand? Okay, how about something a little more three-dimensional? A rainbow. This one's fun to watch it draw. And there we go. A nice little rainbow made of glass. And we can walk right through it. How about something a little more practical? A nice little home. Home sweet home. It's got a furnace and a bed and a torch all ready to go. It's got glass windows and a sign and everything. Pretty cool. One command. We just said, give me a cottage, and there we go. How about something a little more flashy? Let's set the time to nighttime so we can see this little more flashy thing. And we say dance floor 8 by 8. So this built us a glowstone dance floor with glass on top, and you can see it for a few seconds at least. It changes the colors of the glass, so you can actually see it changing around like that, which is just really cool. How about something else that's pretty spectacular? A firework. try that again. One thing you can do with the command line is you can press the up arrow key and it will go back to your previous commands. So I can just press that again and up it goes, and there's another firework. Woo! Okay, how about something that's both cool and useful? Let me set the time back. So it's daytime here. Something cool and useful. How about a castle? This one's kind of fun to watch too, because it's got to build a whole bunch of stuff for us. So we've got towers over here. Let's go in the main entrance though. In we go. Here's the interior of the castle. You can climb up the ladder. Up we go. And it's got this nice little walkway that goes around the top of the castle. You can go into the towers. A bat flying around, that's really appropriate. Yeah, cool little castle. Of course, if I wanted to, we could build stuff inside the castle. And finally, how about something a little more puzzling? I'll put it right here, say. Yep, it's going to make us a maze. So we've got glowstone at the entrance and glass at the exit. The maze can take a little bit of time for the computer to build. But we can go into it. You can see we've got a random maze. I don't know the way through here. And I reached a dead end. Oh well. How about I go back around and oh, look at that. There's the glass exit. And again, that was a 5x4 maze. We can make the maze however big we want. And it could be, you know, if you make it really big, it's going to take you a while to get there. So the drone gives you some really magical powers, and you might find yourself typing in commands that are just too big to fit on the command line, or wanting to make your own functions like the kinds that we just saw, like this maze here. Never fear. In part 5, we're going to learn how to bust through the boundaries of the command line and build some bigger things. So join me again for part 5.